Good afternoon. My name is Stuart Robson-Frisby. I'm the Global Vice President of Channel here at Netwrix. I'm joined by Ken Tripp and Farrah Gamboa as part of Netwrix Innovation Week, and we're going to be talking about 1Secure for MSPs today. We're going to kick off by talking through why MSPs are looking at Netwrix and why we work with MSPs and the benefit to becoming an MSP partner. And I think there's kind of a key few areas for us. One is if you're an MSP, you have recurring revenue streams. You have a differentiated service portfolio, and you have some operational efficiency and scalability. Every partner that looks at MSP is looking at ways they can really start to become stronger. They can keep their customers, retain their customers, and they have stickiness because they're adding the value on top of just licensing. So today we're going to talk around that. We're going to talk about what is 1Secure, how it can help our MSPs, and then we're going to go into a bit of detail about the product as well. So Ken, do you want to cover a little bit about the what it means for MSPs and go from there?
Absolutely, and I think that recurring revenue statement is big, but also too, we have a lot of partners that are hybrid, and so many are shifting more towards managed services right now. And I think that is simply filling a gap in the IT marketplace, right? The skill set needed in today's environments. We're seeing, regulations and needs that were only seen in the enterprise before come down market. So that managed services is a great fit of your business to help out the end client because they're struggling to find the talent needed. And fortunately, Netwrix has a very solid and healthy MSP program where not only do we, the utilization of the technology, but from marketing, sales, support, training, etc. Netwrix is in a great position to help our MS partners succeed, with their business.
Yeah, and Ken, I think the really good thing about it as well, it gives a predictable monthly income for the partners, right? So, whereas if you're selling a license and it comes around to renewal, then, sometimes you'll get that renewal, sometimes you won't. If you're putting a value around it, you're putting some context around it, you're adding extreme value to the customer. We talked about it earlier, but there's a lot of stickiness there for the customer to stay with that partner, and that's a real value to the MSP, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think you said it very clearly right there with, predictable revenue, and unpredictable revenue. So, that type of business practice really allows you, to scale your business with intelligence, get to market fast, not only with helping the client, but just the way that you internalize, your business practices and being able to foresee that future and remain profitable, most importantly.
Yeah, absolutely. And Farah, do you want to go into a little bit about 1Secure and how that works for our solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have OneSecure, which is available, for in our MSP ecosystem today, and it is our multi-tenant SaaS platform. It allows MSPs to manage all of their clients within a single application. You don't have to jump from 10 different dashboards, right? The analysts like Gartner say like 75% of customers want fewer security vendors, and we make it much more simplified by not only providing automated and continuous data security posture management, but also being able to connect the dots between data and identity security, right? Data is the crown jewels, and while data is the prize, identity is the way in, right? So being able to provide that visibility again on a continuous basis, not only through continuous risk assessment and remediation guidance, but also through ongoing monitoring and alerting. It allows you to stay up to speed in terms of anything that's happening within your ecosystem, and allows you to respond very quickly because you have all of the details that you need available. And I think kind of Ken, to your point earlier, when we're talking about areas like compliance, right? Compliance keeps the heat on. These new regional laws create a sense of urgency, and MSPs who are able to, simplify compliance are going to be able to win more, trust more revenue. And we make it really simple to do that with the branded reporting that we have within OneSecure. So we're providing you that audit readiness that you need, and we're streamlining all of those operations all the while.
Yeah, and that really starts to reduce the burden on IT teams, right, in our customers as well. So we're seeing that quite a lot.
Yeah, and I think, and now in the modern, Gen AI age, like AI adoption is accelerating, and we want to enable our MSP partners to be able to go ahead and exceed in their business, right? Be able to profit from, being able to go out and sell more things like M365 Copilot, right? But the reality is that there is a level of risk that exists within, cloud environments, and OneSecure helps to provide those guardrails as well, so you can deploy M365 Copilot faster and safer, and ultimately enabling the MSPs to not just secure Copilot but sell more seats.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things you said there around the audit is really, it's really important, because I was with a customer last week, and what they said to me was that it perfectly aligns with what they're trying to do, which is deliver visibility, control, and then audit readiness. And that audit readiness is really key to them being successful.
And if I could add on to that too, and I think, Farrah, when you mentioned AI, that is really important, right? And what we're seeing in the marketplace today is really two areas where AI is coming in need for the MSP. One, it's proactive internally and using and utilizing agentic AI to take some of those tasks, everyday tasks off, right? Workforce multiplier for their business internally, allowing them to scale, allowing them to grow, and in some cases, reduce the risk. And they're doing that very proactively. When we see the reactive nature of AI, it's now that what our partners are coming to us saying, we have end clients that want to deploy Copilot. And for them now, this is creating a brand new process, and it's people, process, technology. And whether they're going to throw people at that process or technology at it, and figuring out how they're going to be profitable, even if they're not contracted for data handling, but how they're going to be profitable in taking that business out to market. So, again, right back to your point, data has always been important. It's been hard for the MSP to sell. And now all of a sudden, that end client is coming in with the request that they want to do generative AI, right? They want to help their human assets be more productive. And now that process for the MSP is somewhere that they are now creating and reacting to in the marketplace.
And I think tools like OneSecure, right? I think it allows the MSP to say yes way more often. Like, to Stuart, to your point, tasks like audit, even just doing things like a permissions review, these things used to be really cost prohibitive, right? It would take a lot of man hours, a lot of different tools, and ultimately, be very cumbersome to achieve. But now, with a multi-tenant SaaS offering, really bringing in all of these key pieces into a single platform, it becomes much more efficient and profitable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the profitability is really important for our MSPs, right? Because it's not just us as well. There's better margin to be made from MSP. We talked about it earlier. If you just resell a license, you're not adding any value. It's very low margin for a partner. If you're selling a managed service, then you're making more money on the license. You're making money on the services you're wrapping around it. It gives you a higher profitability. It gives you more control over the pricing. It makes it harder for another MSP or partner to come and rip you out of that account. And that's really important to give that stickiness for the account. And it also gives you an opportunity to upsell and cross sell with other opportunities as well. So you can go in and think about how you could add into your SIEM integrations or migration security reviews. And that increases your wallet share with every customer that you have on your managed service platform. And I think that's really key. We want to help MSPs to open up additional revenue streams just with us and other people as well. And that helps them to keep their customers. So it's really important for our customers to understand, our MSPs to understand that, and to deliver a good level of service to customers using the technology as well.
When it comes to Copilot security, I think one of the big trends that we saw in the market, across the market at every end, was really the high level of excitement for organizations to go out and be able to benefit from the productivity gains of a tool like Copilot. But what we actually saw was a lot of delays. While 90% of folks were really excited to get this out and deployed, I don't know, there was less than 10, 15% actual, success and completion of that. And I think, again, with the visibility that we're providing within the product, with the continuous risk assessment and nature of data security posture management, it really does allow for our customers and our MSPs, instead of clients delaying Copilot for months due to fears, MSPs can now roll it out in days with OneSecure. So enabling them to close deals faster and really capture revenue that would otherwise stall.
And with that, bringing that return on investment to their end client as well, right? So there's a lot of pressures on MSPs um, to service that client to make sure that they are getting the productivity out of AI that they wanted because they did it for a reason. And being able to assist our partners in bringing that realization and showing the value of their services utilizing Netwrix to bring that productivity to their end client is very important.
Absolutely, and that kind of goes back to the customer loyalty, right, Ken? I think it's absolutely key that when you're delivering a service, that customer is going to stay with you because you're adding value to their day to day. You're giving them the reports, you're making them audit ready, you're giving them visibility, you're giving them the compliance. All of that is a value add to the customer, and that's really what we aim to help with our MSPs, right? So I think that's really
Yeah,
important. Ken,
absolutely. It's a very competitive market, right?
yeah,
And,
absolutely.
where you mentioned to the point of saying yes versus no, a very large MSP came to us and looked at OneSecure and they go, "Oh my God, we can say yes instead of no." The no before was coming from the profitability of the man-hours it took to deliver the service that Netwrix can, right? So now all of a sudden they're more competitive in the marketplace. They reduce that risk of churn, and more importantly, now they can proactively go do this because they can realize profit with the right technology in their hands.
Yeah, and sustainable profit, and profit that they know is coming, right? So it's revenue that is predictable for them, which is beneficial for every MSP that we work with. And I think that is really key because every MSP we talk to, any partner we talk to, they're always looking for ways in which they can differentiate against what their competitors are doing, right? And if we can help them to do that, we can build in the advanced security, the compliance, we're adding value there. They can start to differentiate that from what other people are offering and therefore be more successful in the market with us and with their customers. So that's really key for me on that part.
And one of the things you say quite often that I love is like we really are a business enabler, right? We are, enabling them to be profitable in their operations because we're providing, the ability to secure with ease, audit readiness with ease.
Right, and you're absolutely correct, Barry. It's if you look at OneSecure, of course, it's a security product, but it really truly is that business solution because you're taking unpredictable indirect costs away from the managed service provider. Now that they know that the price point they set is going to be profitable, your human assets can be redirected in other places. And again, that's why they're looking at agentic AI to try and take some of that off of their shoulders as well. So when you really look at Netwrix, we're solving struggles that you have today that you have to go investigate. You didn't know were coming. They were reactionary to client requests. Now, proactively, you have that covered. And all of a sudden, now that scale of your business and allowing you to go to market at speed is much more efficient.
Yeah, and Ken, I think to add to that, we've lowered the barrier of entry as well, right? So we're making it easier for them to build a security practice. We're doing a lot of that heavy lifting on the reporting, the auditing, the alerts. They don't need to build that from scratch, and building from scratch takes time, it takes investment. If we're giving that to the partners to be able to use, that lowers that barrier of entry for them to come into the system, right?
Absolutely correct. Yeah. So we did lower that barrier of entry and really giving our MSP partners the path to adopt the product, right? Rather than sell the product. And I think that's more important when, especially we're looking at that business solution. Um, it is no longer just for a one-off client request, right? We are trying to help MSPs deliver service across the board. And sometimes, with the current stack that they might have a client on a Microsoft E3. They might have a client on a Microsoft uh, Business Premium plan. And all of a sudden, you have different features, functionality, practices for different clients. Netwrix can enhance that Microsoft investment for you, take away a lot of the human interaction based off of those reactive requests. And now you can go to market confidently, knowing that you're going to profit.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, we're given that kind of support and enablement as well, right? So we have go-to-market assets that our MSPs can come and get hold of. We have training that we can give to the MSPs. We have joint marketing activities that we can go and do with MSPs, and we have a lot of technical support that helps them to accelerate adoption of an MSP program, and that really is, it's going back to what we said about lower barrier of entry. It's allowing them to have predictable revenue. All those things are really valuable to an MSP, right? I mean, that's what they want to get to.
Yeah, and very exciting too, even kind of across from just the fact that we complement Microsoft, right? But Netwrix has invested heavily in our managed services program, and I think one of the big signs of that is getting into the PAX 8 marketplace. It's where our partners consume, and all of the different things that PAX 8 provides to managed service providers, and now Netwrix being in that ecosystem shows our support to help them grow their business.
Yeah, absolutely. So for any partner that wants to go to next step with us, please visit netwrix.com. We have a full explanation on there as how you go to market with us, how you become a partner and join the ecosystem. We are very keen to grow the MSP part of our business and to work with partners on this. So please visit netwrix.com/partners and become a partner today.